Coach, about the defensive line and the tackles for loss. What does it mean to you guys after 2 games to be number one in the nation in tackles for loss per game?
It's always good to be number one in the nation for tackle loss per game, but hopefully we can just carry that over to Stanford game and keep excelling every week and keep pushing the pocket, you know what I'm saying, making negative plays.
Brendon, how much is that rotation? How much has that been helping you guys on the defensive line?
I think it helps us a lot. It keeps us fresh, you know what I'm saying, and it helps us as we got a lot of guys that can make plays, you know what I mean? So I think it's definitely a benefit to us. It gives us, like the older guys a break when the young guys go in and make plays, you know what I'm saying, flying around. So it's just a team effort, you know what I'm saying, from everybody, D-lines as well.
Brendon, you see your offense every day in practice. Does it amaze you that it doesn't seem like it matters which quarterback they stick in there? The offense just keeps rolling along?
Honestly, not really. I kind of expected it, seeing how they performed in camp and seeing how hard those three guys worked in the offseason, even with McKenzie, you know what I'm saying, just getting extra film work in. I think those guys, I just kind of expected them to do that, you know what I'm saying? We all know that they have definitely different talents, different skill sets, but they all make it work when they get opportunity, so.
You talked about that rotation. You got some young guys that stepped in their cam and some guys maybe who haven't had the experience yet. How big has it been for those guys to be able to kind of be a factor when it comes to that rotation?
Honestly, I feel like we've seen a lot of growth from guys early, like Tremont Morris-Brash. He's been developing very well, in my opinion, since camp. He's done a very good job. Mason Cholewa as well. I feel like he's done a good job developing. I think it's just big to see that they can make plays and see their hard work starting to pay off, so they see how the process starts to go as their future careers keep going. So,
What's the early scouting report on Stanford?
Early scouting report, I feel like this is probably the closest team we've seen close to LSU, skill-wise. I mean, skill set, body type. You know what I'm saying? It's not really a scouting report, I'd say. I feel like we've seen it before. We just know we got to do this time.
You talked about the guys in the defensive line who have impressed you. Can you talk about Anthony Montalvo, who has 3 tackles for loss? What he's been like?
Yeah, Anthony Montalvo, he's been, since my tenure here, since he's gotten here, since 2016, I feel like he's been doing a great job just trying to get better every day, whether it's in the weight room, film study. He's always trying to get better at something. He's never, relaxed or feels that he's complacent in where he's at. And he's a great guy to be around.
That was your first career touchdown, right?
Yeah.
So what was that feeling like, reeling in that first one?
It was a great feeling, my first touchdown, hopefully more to come, but, I was just grateful to have, all 11 guys on the field working real hard. I ended up being on the receiving end of that touchdown, but it was all 11 of us who got that.
Jacob, what's it been like? You guys, obviously, you're a deep group at receiver. What's it been like? How do you feel like you fit in with that group and what you were able to provide with them?
I feel like I fit in real well. We're definitely a real tight-knit group. We're like brothers. And just the diversity we have in that group and the depth. You've got guys who, different sizes, all speed guys, different skill sets, but, we make it work, and the depth, you can put us anywhere.
What stands out to you with Dylan Gabriel, the true freshman who likes to throw deep down the field? What stands out to you about him?
Dylan, what stands out to me as a true freshman is his poise and his calmness. He doesn't seem to get flustered or, shaken up at all. He's pretty locked in all the time.
What was more of your perspective on Dylan just coming through spring and August for him to get an opportunity like this? But what was kind of your impressions of him leading up to this point?
My impressions of Dylan was, obviously you can tell he's a great player and he's going to be something special right away. And, him being young, you always have, people who, may, think a certain way. But, Dylan's mature. As a true freshman, he's very mature and he's got a lot of potential.
When you've been through this for the last 8 months when it comes to the quarterbacks, is there any difference really when you see a guy like Brandon Wimbush behind center or Dylan? I mean, do they each have maybe something a little different that's provided you see as a wide receiver? Or is it just, I mean, those guys both are kind of interchangeable when you think about it?
Yeah, obviously they both, they have some sort of a different skill set. But, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's, behind center. It could be Dylan or Wimbush. They're both going to be throwing the ball, making plays.
Are you guys on the offense close to your full potential right now? Are you there or are you far away? What do you think?
I would say we're getting there, but you know, after FAU, looking back at the film, we had a lot of plays out there that we definitely could have made. But we ended up still putting up 48 points. But there's definitely a lot of ball out there that we can still tap into.
Mason, just with the success the defense has had, getting in the backfield, allowing only 14 points, what are some of the differences you see in this defense this year as opposed to last year's defense?
I think everybody has like a clear idea what to do now, and everybody's just so excited to make plays now. And everybody's just like clear idea what to do.
Mason, how much does it help that you guys seem to always be fresh? Coach Burnham's rotating a lot of players. Has that made a difference in how you guys perform on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think it made a huge difference. We get like 5 or 6 snaps, and we got a whole new bodies come, and then Coach Burnham can tell us what we need to adjust on the sideline.
What have you seen as far as progress in your game this year, from last year to this year?
I think I've a whole lot better this year than I was last year. Just the speed off the ball and knowing the defense in general, and just being comfortable playing.
Mason, do you know much about Stanford? I know you're going to jump into them more this week, but have the coaches told you any keys to be on the lookout for?
I mean, they play similar to LSU, big bodies, strong, aggressive guys.
Mason, what does it mean then to play a team like Stanford out of a Power 5 conference? What does it mean to get an opportunity to play them and have them here in your own home stadium?
It means a lot, and we're going to show everybody what we could do playing a school like them.
Kind of following up on that question, does it feel, when it's this kind of a big opponent, this national brand opponent, does this feel different than maybe a FAU or a?
No, I mean, we treat everybody the same. We're going to come hard every time. We don't care who we play.
Working for them, you can open any holes you want, basically. What does that feel like?
Personally, it's a lot of credit to the running backs. That whole group, I mean, they're awesome. They run really hard. They run downhill. But I think that's something over fall that we really worked on, was trying to create holes and actually move people. And Coach Heupel talked about it a little bit, straining a little bit at the end and actually finishing the blocks and allowing them to do what they do and get out there in open space, as you guys have saw with us.
Jake, do you ever look at the film afterward? And I know you're probably concentrating on your block at the time, but look at what some of those things those running backs did. Adrian Killen just dragging people to the end zone. Otis Anderson made some guy, fly and completely miss him and stuff like that.
It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see what those guys do and them be able to show the nation who they really are. Like watching Otis make that cut and have somebody 2 feet off the ground, hands out, can't do anything, and touchdown. AK dragging people, little guy, 5'9", dragging people through the end zone, doing his thing. It's awesome, and it's great for us because we've done our job and they've done their job, and it's nice for us.
Jake, what stood out when Dylan started last week? What stood out to you about his performance, and does he act like a true freshman when he's in the huddle on the offense with you guys?
No, he does not act like a true freshman. You wouldn't believe it. He acts like a senior. He leads and he does his thing. He does his job. He knows his place, and he plays very, very hard, and it's awesome to see.
How important has the addition of Tony Gray been to the offensive line? Obviously, he's seeing a lot of time on the side opposite of you at left tackle.
It's been great because we've been able to rotate guards and keep the guards fresh. So when we're pulling, those are the guys who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us in our offense, and they're really the ones setting up the blocks for us. So it's good for them to be able to.
I know you guys look at every opponent the same way, but is there any noticeable difference in the size or speed or quality of what you see from the D-line at Stanford?
Sorry. Personally, like Mason said, we treat everybody the same no matter who it is. We're going to treat them like how we treated Auburn, how we treated LSU, how we treated FAMU, how we treated FAU. We're going to treat them all the same. We're not going to look at size. That's not something we look at. We just play as hard as we can and control what we can control.
Jake, the line's only given up 1 sack so far this season. I know early on there was a lot of discussion. I know Jordan talked about this, about being more physical this year. Do you guys feel like you've been that way over the first 2 games? You've been able to maybe kind of put your
oppose our
physicality
will
on there? Yeah.
I believe so. I believe we've been able to oppose our will on opponents and kind of be able to like we talk about, you oppose your will to move a man and put him where he doesn't want to be. And that's something that we harped on over camp, and I think we've done a really good job over the past 2 games. I think this game we did a lot better than we did in the first game, and I think it needs to continue.
Yeah, I just wonder if anything was said this week or after the game about pass blocking. There were some pressures given up, a lot of pressures given up. I know there weren't any sacks given up, but was there anything you need to refine and be better at in that area?
We just needed to communicate a little bit better. Just kind of work on be us and play how we play within ourselves and not try and get too complicated with it, I think. And